Welcome back to a brand new live stream on the channel. Good to see everyone here today. It is a Saturday, so I don't expect a lot of people to be here today. And I'm only going to do a quick 45 minutes to an hour just to give you guys an update on the overall market, what I expect to happen next, and some of the bullish news or some of the news that's been coming out, some of the data that's been coming out. And I'll be dropping a brand new altcoin for you guys today as well, a low cap AI agent on base. So make sure you guys watch the entire stream, or at least the first half an hour, because that is going to be all the important stuff. Afterwards, I'm probably just going to be answering some questions. But Omar, good to see you. Walaikum salam. Jobin, Fizz, walaikum salam, my friend. How you doing? Andreas, very good to see you, buddy. Hope you're having a good day. Nova, Beam, Adnan, good to see you as well. Happy, Savage, Zeus. Oh, Mike's a bit terrible. Fuck. How's the mic now? Is the mic bearish or bullish? Let me know. I've just plugged it in, plugged it back out. If not, then I'll just go to my webcam mic. Just let me know. Is the mic okay? Excellent now. Perfect. I just had to plug it in and plug it back out. Anyways, I just spent the first 2 minutes just introduction. Said hello to everyone. We'll go over the market stuff first, and then I'll do some of your altcoins that you guys want me to look at. So let's go over what's been happening in the markets over the last week, because the last time I was live was about 5 days ago. Between that time, there has been a lot of data coming out. So I think Bitcoin, as we mentioned the last stream, if it did not break out of this structure right here, then the most likely scenario would have been the 90K region. Now, since then, Bitcoin has broken out, back tested, and now is holding this support over here. We do have some FUD at the moment with these big wallets waking up. So 8 dormant Satoshi era Bitcoin wallets reactivated after 14 years, which totals $8.6 billion, which is quite a lot of money. When we had the German FUD, when German government was selling the Bitcoin, the price did drop a decent amount, between 10 to 20%. Now this is a little bit more than that. I think they had around 4 to 6 billion. Sorry, these guys have 8 billion. So let's see if these guys start selling. If they do, then this could possibly happen. We could come down here, because what you get is a case of panic selling across the board. If they don't sell, or they're just shifting money around, then the reality is, we're just going to continue higher, because there is quite a lot of bullish news. Now, I think one of the most bullish news today, or the last couple of days, is this big, beautiful bill that's coming into law. So Trump has officially signed it. Yesterday it was. Yeah, so yesterday he signed it. Now, why is this bullish for the markets? Well, to put it simply, if you just ask Grog, a lot of you guys can do this. All it basically is like, it is massive tax cuts across the board. So you're getting a reduction in taxes for the average person. You're getting, the deficit being increased to 5 trillion. So they're not going to default on the debt, which is obviously very, very good. $5 trillion will eventually be printed. That debt ceiling will continue to go higher, in my opinion, forever. I don't think the debt ceiling will ever. I don't think they'll ever default on the debt. They will keep increasing and increasing to the point where eventually no amount of printing can save the system, and then you get a total collapse. You could possibly, I think, then you probably get a new system coming into play, whether it's stable coins, whether it's CBDCs, whatever it is. I think that's a years ahead, in my opinion. So, anyways. And then another thing that this big beautiful bill is going to do for the markets is going to cater to risk on behavior. And what that means is people are going to be willing to take more risks, because there's going to be more printing happening. The market, there's going to be tax cuts across the board. There's going to be a business boom where bank loans, they're going to de-relegate the banks, and banks can start loaning out to small and medium-sized businesses. And that's how you get into economic expansion. You cater towards smaller to medium-sized businesses if they can take out loans from any bank for a cheaper rate. And I do think the interest rates will come down as well. According to CME FedWatch, our first rate cut would be in September. Then we got another one in October, and then we have one final rate cut, a chance to cut rates in December as well. If you go into 2026, JP Morgan predicts anywhere between 5 to 6 rate cuts, which is quite a lot, because that's what they want to do. They want to bring the rates down. Now, you have to think of this in this scenario, right? If the big beautiful bill comes into play, of course, it's going to be inflationary, because there's going to be more currency in circulation, which is going to become inflationary, and the Fed is going to cut rates in September as well. So it just seems to me that the Fed is purposely trying to cause inflation, because they want everything to be inflated higher. And the people that will pay for the markets going higher are the people that hold cash and the people that hold bond. Because if you're holding currency currently, well, you're holding the dollar, unless you're holding the euros, but if you're holding the dollar currently, you're getting wrecked 11% a year. You might not notice it because your bank account balance remains the same, it doesn't change, but your purchasing power decreases 11% a year. So if you're holding cash or you're holding bonds, you're going to get wrecked over the next couple of years as the market continues to go higher. Now, a lot of people say like groceries are getting expensive. If you compare it, if you compare it to fiat, of course it is. If you compare it to BTC, you have a lot more purchasing power, and groceries and inflation isn't a thing. This is where investment and smart investing plays a massive role in your day-to-day life. If you've been holding fiat over the last God knows how many years, everything's becoming more expensive for you. If you was holding Bitcoin over the last 3-4 years, everything will be cheap, because Bitcoin appreciates while the dollar depreciates in value. So that's something to consider as well. Like I said, if you're holding cash, and you're holding bonds, you are going to get fucked over the next couple of years. You guys are going to pay for the markets going higher. So that is something to consider. Those guys that's heavy in cash and trying to save. You can't save your way to being rich. Secondly, we have this, which is 77%, 6.9%, whatever it is, 6.8% of the population currently owns crypto. This is forecasted to get to 10.5% by the end of 2025. So you are going to see a lot more adoption, a lot more new people coming into crypto as well, which is obviously very bullish, because there will be our exit liquidity. And another very important thing, when I talked about risk on metrics or risk on behavior, there's currently $7.4 trillion sitting in the money markets. It is the most liquid market that we have. And what that means is the money markets, this is where people go to when they feel scared, or when there's a lot of uncertainty. They run to the money markets because it's very illiquid. You can buy, sell, do whatever you want, right? Well, what happens when maybe 5 to 10 to 15 to 20% of this money starts to get risk on? You get a massive boom across the entire asset group everywhere. Stocks, crypto. When people get risk on, they take more risk. They get into Bitcoin, they get into altcoins, and when the big beautiful bill coming in, this is what it incentivizes people to do. So over the next 6 months, I am very, very bullish, and I think the market will remain bullish over the next 6 months. Any dip, I think if we do get a drop down to this level over here, maybe because these guys are selling, whatever it is, right? There's always going to be FUD to bring the markets lower. If these guys start selling, the market goes down to the low 90s. That should be a phenomenal buying opportunity for everyone. So you should be prepared for both scenarios. No one can predict the markets anymore, because it used to be a business cycle where data will come out and the markets will move based on the data. That's no longer the case. The market now moves on a physical, is now a physical cycle where whatever Trump says will move the markets, and none of us can predict what Trump is going to say tomorrow. He might just put on a 30% tariff tomorrow. None of us would know. So anyways, that is basically all the macro stuff. We also had some data coming out as well. Let's go over some of the data. We had non-farm payroll coming above expected. We had unemployment actually coming lower, which is why the CME gap for July went from 30% chance of a rate cut down to basically 5% damn near. So there's not going to be no rate cuts in July. August, there's no meeting. So the next rate cut is going to be in September. We also did have the PMI numbers coming in. So it did come in slightly higher. And when this gets above 50, that is when the market is in economic expansion. And what that means is, it means that the market is doing very well. So when this gets above 50, I think is a good place to start taking some profits off the table. That is when economic expansion is happening, and that's when new people will join the crypto space. That is when you guys to start to look to DC out instead of feeding into the hype of everything going higher. Khalid, good to see you, my friend. I appreciate the $5 donation. Walaikum salam, Khalid. How you doing, bro? It's good to see you, man. Haven't seen you on the channel for a while. Let's go over some of the stuff. I will be talking about a brand new altcoin as well today, so stay tuned to that. It is a base play. Someone kept asking me for months, do you have a base play, a specific base play? I did find one now, so that we will speak about that very, very soon. Your thoughts on Swan Chain? I'll have a look into your coins in like 10 to 15 minutes. Suba, good to see you as well, my friend. Very good to see you. Hi, I just put 5K each into Sensei or Hippo Sudang. Is this good entry? Are we going to have a bull run? Is the Fed so fed up with this? I think a lot of people is frustrated. Now, you guys got to keep in mind, in order for us to have a successful bull run, half of the participants need to be bearish and half of the participants need to be bullish. If the market is going higher, then what happens is the people that are bullish will obviously make money. The people that are bearish, they will find charts here and there that's going to say it's going down. But if it keeps going up enough, those same people start to FOMO in, and that is how you get a bigger pump at a later stage. So very, very good. At the moment, I would say we are split between bears and bulls. Everyone's not bullish, because when everyone's bullish, that means you should be taking profits. When everyone's bullish, that's when you should be bearish. That is how you guys should be thinking. When you're in groups or whatever you are, everyone's screaming new all-time highs, and the market's already pumped 5 to 10 to 15x. You should be looking to take profits. Any updates on Sensei immunity? Bro, just check their Twitter, bro. Check the Twitter. Sensei's been updating like every week. They do community AMAs every week, bro. Just go on Twitter and check the updates yourself. I'm not going to come on here every day talking about the updates, bro, but it's not hard. Go on CoinMarket, CoinGecko, download X on your app. Sensei is currently up like 50% this week, which is quite bullish. You go on Twitter right here, follow them, press this button over here, press the follow button, and then come down here and check what they're doing, because they do AMAs literally every single week. They do an AMA giving the community an update on what's going to happen. So they did an AMA yesterday on the 4th of July, talking about all their progresses, everything. That's the best way to check for updates, my friend, including immunity as well. You can do the exact same thing across every single altcoin you hold. But these guys are obviously developing. They're bringing new tools out, and they're marketing right now. That's probably one of the main reasons why Sensei is pumping. And I think the reason they're marketing so hard right now is because they're most likely going to release something big, or they have some major announcement coming out very soon. And it's every single time there's a bullish announcement coming out, what they tend to do is they tend to market first, and then when the announcement comes, it could cause an extra pump. I just put 5K each on Sensei or Hippo. I don't know about Hippo, because it's not a bad bet in terms of the ecosystem of base on Sui. Sorry, the chart looks pretty decent. It looks like is consolidating in the same range. It's not a bad investment, I would say. It's not a bad investment. You need to get an RWA coin, my friend. All-time high. You need to get an RWA coin. I don't think you should get strictly 2 AI coins and one meme. Get 1 AI, maybe get Sensei, get some RWA coin, maybe EstateX, and then get like a meme coin. It could be Hippo, could be Migos, it could be anything. Just get the main meme or a bullish meme on any bullish chain. That's it. That's how you make money on memes. It's not really that hard. Speaking of memes, actually, Jojo, if you guys follow the alert, I don't think it's on here yet, but they've fast-tracked it. Jojo pumped like 13x. You know, I'll put an alert on that, and he done 13x. That was a good investment. Is there a new tier list video for AI? I probably will drop a new tier list video. Yes, that's actually a good idea. I think a tier list video would be. I think with the tier list, you have to update them regularly. So I will release a new one. Yes, that's a good idea, my friend. Would you consider Moonray is backed? It's $1 million market cap. I don't really pay too much attention on projects that are backed by specific ventures, just because Coinbase invests into hundreds of projects. I like to look at the ones that are actually providing something useful, rather than. So this is a gaming project. I remember this actually. This had a decent pump a few weeks ago. Game looks good. If you get a gaming run, stuff like this will run parabolic because the game looks good. I wouldn't focus too much on gaming right now. I wouldn't focus too much on gaming right now, my friend. However, if gaming does come back, I do think this can perform fairly well. I do think so. The only gaming projects that hold. Munity does have an update coming out for those guys that are worried about updates. They have some sort of announcement coming out fairly soon. I don't know when. I think it's on Monday actually. They're going to be announcing something on Monday. So that's what they said. Major update incoming. The wait ends on Monday. So I'm assuming it's going to be their game coming out. That's why I think. But gaming is dead right now. So I wouldn't focus too much on gaming. Ponky or Migos. Ponky is one of those memes that everyone uses, in Telegram groups. So I think Ponky is a lot safer than Migos and has a lot more volume as well. Whereas Migos is a little bit lower in market cap, and is one of the main memes on the base ecosystem. So it's entirely up to you. If you want a little bit of a safer choice, I'll probably go with Ponky. But if you want something with a little bit more upside potential, I'd probably go with Migos. Just because Migos is on the base chain, and base tends to run quite often. What do I think about Cookie? I think Cookie is a good project. Like, it's a normie coin. The best way to explain Cookie is a normie coin, meaning that it's on Binance, it's on the top exchanges, it has good volume, and you can get like a cool anywhere between a 4 to 10x to 12x, maybe possibly if you get lucky, But it's a good coin overall. Like, in terms of performance, it will pump with the markets, it will dump with the markets. But you're not gonna get life-changing money with Cookie, And one of the main reasons is because they're diluting quite a lot. If you look at the market cap to the price wise, for this to get back to the all-time high, all it needs is like just over a 2x, like a 2.3x. So you're just over double your money pretty much. But you look at the price wise, there's a massive difference, right? You look at the price, currently it's 16 cents. At the peak of this, it was like 60 cents, 63 cents, right? So you do the math. It's like 4.5x away in terms of price wise. But if you compare the market cap, which is more important than price because of dilution, is only 2x away. So don't look at the price thinking, let me buy a Cookie. If it goes back to 60 cents, I make a 4 or 5x. The reality is you have to compare it from the market cap perspective, because it went to that market cap, but since since Jan, it's been diluted. You have to keep that in consideration. The dilution plays a massive role. So if you expect this to go back to 60 cents, it will require maybe like half a billion instead of just 180 or whatever it was before. So that's something to consider as well. They have been diluting a decent amount of tokens. It has good volume, so if the team is selling, it can be absorbed. But you're not gonna, like I said, you're not gonna make life-changing money with Cookie. The Cookie life-changing buying opportunity was down here. It's not gonna be up here. Especially with all the dilution that's happening. $200 million in market cap, 88. The peak was 200 million. That's a massive wick after the Binance listing. Let's say on average, 160, 150 around these regions, right? That's just a 2x away from here, market cap wise. So don't look at the price, always look at market cap, because whatever the price went before was when it was less dilution. It's been diluted now, my friend. Do I think TET will ever recover? I wouldn't bet on it. I still think it's all about the narratives. It's not about individual coins at this point because one coin can be phenomenal. If the narrative is not there, people just will not give a shit. It's like you look at some of these deepin projects like Ionet and AFAN and Alt and Natix and all these other ones, right? They're fundamentally solid projects, but why are they not pumping aggressively? Even though they're updating every day, they bring in bullish news, whatever it is, right? Why is it not pumping? The reason it's not pumping is very simply because the narrative is dead. People are not invested in the narrative at the moment. You look at a chart of this, does this look like it's pumping aggressively? No. But even though they update, they earn revenue, they do everything, it's never about individual coins. It's about the narratives. That's it. If layer ones come back, of course tech will pump because people just go buy anything. When the new investors, most people don't even know what tech is in the grand scheme of things in the crypto space. The degens, like the communities in the low cap communities, they know what tech is because most of them hold it. Whereas you go to the broader space, the Bitcoin maxis, the ETH maxis, and all these other coins, they don't know what TET is. They've never heard of TET. It doesn't have an ecosystem. No one's building on it. So it's just a normal coin. But then what happens is when the narrative kicks in, people just go on CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap. They go on the category of layer ones and they just buy something that hasn't pumped. That's all. That's how the market works. That's why I say if you're in the markets long enough, you'll always make money as long as you're in the correct narratives. It's not about individual coins anymore. That was back in 2017, maybe 2020 cycle. But now there's too many coins. There's a lot of new coins coming out every other day, and they're all good. So you have to get into the most bullish narratives, and that's the exact same thing with deepin. The deepin coins are dead. You look at this, you look at some of the other ones, they are basically at the range lows, and that is because deepin is dead. It's not because these coins are dog shit or they're scams, where a lot of retards tend to do. Is if a project's not performing, they call it a scam. That's not true. They're not scams. They're continuously working. They're generating revenue. They're real businesses. You're investing into upcoming businesses. This is what some of these crypto projects are, right? It's all about the narrative. When deepin run happens, which I think it will happen at some point this year, because deepin is one of those that everyone uses and needs. So at some point, it will have to be a narrative. In December, we had the AI agent narrative where anything AI agent at the end pumped. So that's how it works. It's not about individual coins, my friend. Just if you think layer ones will pump, then tech will pump a layer ones. And it's the same thing with Alt, the same thing with Ionet, AFA, Natix, and all these other ones. Thoughts on Swan Chain? Let's have a look at Swan Chain. It's a brand new coin, launched last year, had a fucking crazy dump. I don't know why. Swan full of tools that are blocked. Nah, I'm not bullish on this, bro. I don't really like these type of projects that are like too heavy. Optimize an OP. So it's a layer 2. Okay, so it's a layer 2 optimize an OP stack. So it's okay. So it's a subnet for stacks. Yeah, if stacks pumps, this will pump as well. You got games. It doesn't even look that bad actually. And the partner with Alt as well. It's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, they has enhanced Alt's capabilities. Yeah, it looks like people are utilizing this. Partners, Microsoft, Google, and NVIDIA. I'm assuming these are either grants. I'm assuming they're grants. Yeah, it has to be grants because there's no way they actually partner with those companies. Yeah, it doesn't even look that bad, my friend. Actually, to be honest, team's doxed as well. Filecoin funded by Binance Labs as well. Okay, they tend to have some good backers. So this is like so there's another layer 2 for hold on. Swan Chain, initiated in 2021, is a full tool AI blockchain infrastructure accelerated adoption utilizing Upstack. So it's always utilizing pioneering emerging Web3 in AI by providing comprehensive solution across storage, compute, and bandwidth payments. To be fair, this is not a bad project. It's not a bad project at all. It's a good DGen coin. I think this could potentially pump at some point. It's down 97% down. Check the vesting, but keep this on your watch list. It could be a good trade. Some Mexi Gay Albank. Yeah, it could be a good trade. It doesn't even look that bad. Looks like a smaller version of what Alt does, but probably on a much lower scale. Anyways, shall we release? It's been half an hour now. We went over the macro stuff. I'm going to talk about a brand new DGen coin. It is a low cap. It has not been battle tested. It's not been through a cycle or anything. So it is going to be DGen. And I don't recommend anything more than 1 to 2% of your portfolio into this project. Do not buy heavy. Doesn't matter how much you like it. They are still DGen. If you have not learned over the last year that when someone says something is DGen, and you should recommend small amounts when most of these altcoins are down 80, 90%, then if you have not learned from that, do not make the same mistakes again. It's a DGen coin. I've personally only chucked in a few grand into it, something I can afford to lose. And the reason I say I can afford to lose is because, I can make the money back from one trade. So if the coin rug pulls or does whatever, right? Because nothing's certain in these markets. If the coin was to ever rug pull, I can always make my money back with 1 to 2 trades. So that's why I say put in whatever you can afford to lose. That project is called HINT. You guys might have heard of it. Some of you might have not. It is only $3 million in market cap. So it is very, very low in market cap. The vesting schedule for this project is phenomenal. It was one of the main reasons I liked a lot. And you guys know, you guys can tell a project is good investing when you look at the chart. Over the last 3 months, it's just been holding really, really strong. Even amongst the World War II FUD, it barely dropped. It came up, came back down, and then just ended up slowly going higher. So that is because of the vesting schedule. You look at the vesting schedule for this project, it's really, really, really good. The team unlock start in 185 days, more than enough, before them guys start to sell. You look at everything else, strategics already diluted, public sales already diluted, so you don't have to worry about that. The dumps for all of this stuff has already happened. You look at the market cap, 4 million, let's say 4 million right now, right? By the end of 2025, it's going to be 4. Let's go a little bit further down. Let's go into Jan 2026. Let's say December 2026 is going to be 4.4 million. That's only 400K from now to like the end of 2025. It's only 400K coming into circulation, meaning there's barely any dilution, my friends. There's no dilution for this project. Now, what does this project do? Let's go over the website. Let's go over the Twitter as well, just to give you guys a rundown of what they do. And, I think this project, why is the white paper the website? That's weird. I need to update that. Anyways, the website's over here. Anyways, let's go here. But these guys are an infrastructure for AI agents. It is backed and granted by the likes of Google, Microsoft, and NVIDIA. So they do have grants from all 3 big projects. Let's go over it. They've just partnered with C as well. One of the main reasons that I like this project. They just blast partnerships every other day. And they're not just partnerships. These guys are basically an infrastructure for AI agents where it gives agents up-to-date information. So, a lot of the stuff, a lot of the problems with Web3 is the data and the APIs for developers. If they want up-to-date information, they have to create new APIs. These guys make developers' life easier by giving them up-to-date information without having the need to actually build new APIs. That's why everyone uses them. Look at the partnership that they have in every other day. See, ARB, and there's so much partnerships. And you go look at the website. I don't know why it's not working, but you guys have to check out yourself. I don't know why the fuck it's not working, bro. Shit retarded. But anyways, it's a very, very good project overall. I do think it will do very, very well. The team is doxed. The vesting schedule is good. A lot of people are utilizing them, which is obviously very good. And I think more and more people will continue to utilize them. There's actually a post, let me see if I can find it, that explains perfectly what this project does. Hold on, let me just scroll up a little bit. This guy here posted it. Let's go on Hive. Right here, look. When we hear about DEAI, most of the attention goes to flashy bots, decentralized training, Bitcoin, or whatever, right? Hive makes, hold on. But the real breakthrough comes when large language models can actually understand and use live data blockchain. That's where Hive steps in. So Hive makes this possible by turning raw blockchain activity into clean, structured information that AI can work with. It processes 250 terabytes of data every day across 60 blockchain networks. Responses arrive in 30 seconds. Come down here. What really sets Hive apart is how accessible it makes blockchain data. It pulls information from 5,000 protocols, allows developers to straightforward ask questions like, what is the latest TVL across these protocols? Instead of juggling multiple APIs and messy data sources, teams get clear, ready to use answers. They plug in straight into the AI system. So this is what it does. This is something that I think is going to continue to grow. But the timing couldn't be better. The blockchain AI market is expected to grow from 4.2 to 70 billion by 2030. So as we get more adopted, as blockchain starts to get more adopted, Hive is going to play a massive role in the data for everything across the board. So that's why I'm very, very bullish on this project. Very, very low in market cap as well. $3 million in market cap. Decent listings as well. Good volume. Mexi, Bingex, Base. So it is on Base. So you guys can obviously just go buy a DEX if you want. But it has very good liquidity and volume. 700K daily volume, which is, in my opinion, is very, very good. So that's the project that I wanted to talk about today. It is brand new. I have just dropped it for you guys. Check it out. If you like it, buy. If you don't, skip it. Last time I think you said that you don't recommend Ledger. Ledger has a lot of issues, my friend. A lot of issues. Like, they have this weird. There's been a lot of FUD with Ledger. I would rather get a Tangent or like a Trezor. I think those are good. Yeah, G, the hairlines in the 50, 60 gold zone, brother, bullish as fuck. All the yo, that's funny. That is gold zone. Welcome, massive shout out to the inner circle. See you, watch. Good to see you, bro. Bro said shout out to the inner circle. And my hairline, this is not my real hairline, bro. My hair's just down today, bro. Ram, good to see how you been, bro. Good to see you as well, man. How you been? What's happening with SMT? SMT was a very good project in 2022. That's when I got in. I made over 100x on this. But if you got into SMT recently, you've been getting raped pretty much. And one of the main reasons is because these guys have not moved on from what they were doing back in 2020. Like, what they haven't done nothing new. And because RWA is a brand new category that's growing every single day, these guys have not adopted to the markets. And that's one of the main reasons I think that these guys are just continuously selling off. I think the team probably made stupid amounts of money on this already. And the thing is like what these guys were doing, all the big institutions do now. You look at Bybit, they offer stock trading. You look at Ondo, they offer stock trading. You look at Injective, they offer stock trading. You look at some of these other, I think a lot of these big exchanges will eventually offer stock trading. So, these guys have fierce competition across the board. And that's something to consider as well with SMT. It's just been getting raped consistently, even though their concept is very bullish, because this is pretty much what everyone is doing. Everyone wants to bring stocks on chain. So, you would think, because this is the current narrative and everyone wants to do it, you'd think that this coin should be pumping now. But the reality is it's not. It keeps dumping. And one of the main reasons it keeps dumping is either because maybe they haven't done no marketing or no one even uses them. You know, it's as simple as that. Maybe no one uses them, and that's probably why it hasn't. Or the team's just selling. It's hard to say. But you look at the Twitter, unless they're doing something really, really bullish, which it doesn't look like they're forming new partnerships. It just looks like what they're doing is they're just explaining stuff to people. That's not what a project should be doing. A project should not be explaining, you know, shit like this. Bitcoin might open the door, RWAs will walk through it. Stupid shit like that. Like, you should be updating, improving the platform, you know, forming partnerships. That's what you should be doing. And these guys have not been doing that. Look at the engagement. Engagement is terrible. 600 people are viewing their posts. So, you know, you could call this a relic. And I think I think it will obviously come back. This will be a good trade when RWA becomes a narrative. And the thing is like, it doesn't matter how dead a project is. It doesn't matter how, even if the project's rugged, in an RWA season, everything will pump. So, you know, at some point, this could be worth a good trade. The TVL is horrific, 60K, terrible TVL. You know, the only good thing about this project is it's almost fully diluted, and it's going to be worth a trade at some point. But these guys have just not done anything important. Like, when I got into this, they've just been on the same stuff, like the same exchanges since 2022. It's been 3 years now. They should have at least improved a bunch of stuff. But they haven't been updating as much. They haven't been doing anything. So that's why I think this project has just been going down consistently. So you have to take that in consideration. Take that in consideration, my friend. It's going to be a good trade. Like, when RWA hypes, I guarantee you this will pump, because it pumps every time. Pumps a decent amount every time. You know, so this is when I was buying into this down here during the FTX crash. Since then, it went on to do 100x at the top. But right now, I don't. If it comes down to the 1 cent region, it could be a way. It could be if it comes down to the 3 cent region, it could be a good buy, because if it goes back to, you know, the highs in 2024, or even the highs of December, you can get a easy 10x on this. Easy 10x. What's a good buy for hints? You look at the chart, my friend. I think now is not a bad time to get initials in. And the reason I say that is because just look at the chart for the last 3 months. It has not been dumping. And you got to keep in mind, the only time, you know, you wait for a project to actually come into a decent place to buy is if they have massive unlocks. This has no unlocks. I've just showed you guys the unlocks. You know, by the end of 2020, basically end of 2025, December the 30th, there's only going to be an extra 400K into circulation. And that is slowly, you know, 2K a day. 2K a day. And then you look at the volume is almost 700K. That 2K a day unlock is not doing nothing to the price action at all. So as long as they keep updating and developing, and which is what they do literally every single day, they post a new partnership every single day. They've just formed a partnership with ARB. They did an AMA with ARB, and now they've just formed a partnership with C. And they're taking part in this hackathon by C. If they win it, they're going to get massive amount of money from C. And they're also going to get a partnership, like a legit partnership with them. C is going to give them a shout out. So overall, I think it is positive. Hustle, good to see you, bro. James, good to see you as well, my friend. How you doing, James? Very good to see you, James. Are we bullish for? I think we're bullish for the next 6 months. Now, obviously, I'm not saying when I say bullish that we're just going to be going up in a straight line for 6 months. That's not going to how it's going to work. But the consensus is bullish right now. There's not really much FUD to bring us down to these regions unless these guys start selling. Where is it? Unless these guys start selling. If these guys start selling and you see the market come down to this area, which is the CME gap, that's going to be a crazy buying opportunity, because the market will, you know, it will do a V-shaped reversal back up straight away. You know, but let's just hope that doesn't happen anyways. I don't really want that to happen, but if it does happen, I am prepared. I am positioned. I have cash on the side ready to buy. I'm very bullish on Nye. People think just because the price of a project is going down or it's not pumping aggressively that I become less bullish. The reality is, as long as your project's developing, as long as your project's working, you don't really have to be worried. Nye is building something that people will eventually use. They're building real stuff. Anyone who understands IT will be very bullish on what Nye is building. They're building real useful stuff that can be used in Web 2 and Web 3. And they got some big partnerships dropping soon. The CEO said it's all about time. And at the moment, their main focus is getting the mainnet out. That is the most important thing for them right now. And then they're going to go into the marketing phase. Then they're going to get some more exchange listings. At some point, they're going to get more KOLs. That's how it works. But the most important thing for any project, in the market is dead right now, is to get their product out and make people use your product so you can generate revenue. That's what they focus on right now. The main product, the mainnet comes out within the next month. It's going to be very good. Nexus, the other ones, there's like 4 different products they have, which is very, very good. So yeah, I'm still very bullish on this. Just go look at join the Telegram and listen to the AMA. They did an AMA recently. And another good thing about this is all of this is real volume. These guys don't run bots. That's one of the things I like about this project. If you look at some of these other projects, if they had real volume without their bots, most of their volume would be this, if not even less. Most of these projects run bots. They have market making bots that push the price up, push the price down, increase the volume. These guys have an authentic volume. There's no bots running on it. And at the peak, in December, this had like almost 2 million volume, real volume. People were transacting, real people, not bots. So that means when it's time to sell, you're not selling to bots, you're selling to real people, which makes it a lot easier to sell. That's why I'm bullish on this. There's no unlocks till November. No unlocks till November. All the early investors have got the tokens. That's why I'm bullish on this project. It's just price action. You look at price action is pretty much in the same range for the last 3 months. Has not been moved when the market moved in April and May. Came back down. This is how every chart looks. I would say 99% of altcoins look exactly like this. If most of them are even putting new lows, this has not put in a new low yet. You look at dominance, is that all-time highs look. When dominance was dropping, this pumped. When it came back up, it's dumped. It's a big correlation between alts and dominance. Hit the like, guys. I do agree. Hit the likes. What is it called? Previous year? What the fuck is it called? Am I bullish on this? I'm not bullish on this now. Something happened to this. I can't remember what it was, but it had this crazy nasty drop. And I think one of the main things was I think what they did was they sacrificed their tokens for Binance. I think they gave too much tokens to Binance or Binance Alpha just to get listed on Binance Alpha, and then they got fucked because all those guys started to sell. So that's why Binance Alpha is good, but the reality is it's not, because one of the main ways you actually get on Binance Alpha is you have to give them a bunch of tokens. So then what Binance does is then they they either give it as airdrops or they sell it themselves. So that's why I'm not really bullish on anything Binance Alpha. And they got on Binance Alpha. Look what happened to it. It got fucked. Community got mad. Everyone sold. And, eventually it'll bottom out and it'll probably pump again. But at the moment, I wouldn't touch it. Just let the chart bottom out. What about Snift? I'm still bullish on Snift. Still bullish on Snift as an AI gaming play. Like, you have to cater to all narratives. And AI gaming, I think, as AI gets better, so will gaming. And AI gaming, I think, will have a run. And plus, it's backed by Binance Labs, which means that they're going to pump it at some point to make the money back at least. Hamas ready to negotiate with Israel. Bullish. Yes, that's bullish. Any war that stops is always very bullish for the markets. Very bullish. Bao, good to see you, Bao. It's a crazy name though, Bao. Isn't it like one of the devil's names? This project ain't out yet. This is fucking Trump's talk. I wouldn't buy this, no. I would not be buying this, Bo. The reason I'm not buying this because I think what they did was they sold most of their tokens to like a company. Like they sold like 25% of it to some company. So I don't really recommend you buying it because you're gonna get farmed. And this is gonna come out like billions of dollars of market cap. It's not gonna come out low cap. It's gonna come out as a high cap. You know how much money are you really gonna make with this shit? It's useful. It's useless. It's just a money generating scheme for Trump family. That's it. It's not gonna benefit you as an investor holding this token. So I would stay away from it 100%. I would not be looking to buy that. More updates. I hold C. I hold a good bag of C. I think everyone should have got C at least. But C just hit a brand new all-time high in daily transactions and TVL. Let's have a look at what sale is doing on it. Is it say? Is it how do you? Is it SAI? This is the DEX. It's not in here. What the fuck? What's the DEX called on C? Is it not called Sailor? Tripping them. Anyways, Art Trade just got a new listing. I don't know what the fuck this listing is, but it's a listing, and not any listing will do at least. Yeah, I don't know what that listing is, but they've got a new listing which goes live on the July the 8th. Always good to see. Propbase has some massive announcements coming out very soon. Okay, so big news. Props Bridge final order incoming next AMA tomorrow. We are happy to announce that Props Bridge has now entered the final CertiK order and will be launched soon. What this does is it basically juggles liquidity from the main chain into the base chain. And it's bullish because now people can actually buy heavy. Whales can actually buy heavy on the base ecosystem. The base ecosystem or the base chain for at least for Propbase had low liquidity. It will now have much larger liquidity pools, meaning that whales can now start buying on base, which is always very, very positive for the token. The more liquidity a token has and the less slippage when you buy a heavy amount is always positive because whales can come in and pump the token up aggressively if they don't want to buy on the Aptos chain and they want to buy on base. So very, very good. So extremely happy with the results. Another top CertiK. Okay, that's good. With layer 0 powered cross-chain bridge, we're using the same secure beta-tested contracts trusted by the top Aptos ecosystem. So bridge TX under 60 seconds cost 1 cent, which is good. Propbase to base chain, huge success, 15K holders on there. This will obviously increase as the liquidity also increases. And then we have the Ethereum bridge coming after launch. This is going to be very, very positive because most RWA projects are on Ethereum. So now that they have an Ethereum bridge as well, very good. It's also going to be on Solana. It's only going to be on AVAX and it's going to be on other chains as well. So with this NFT, this layer 0 NFT is really, really good. Most projects have it. Sensei has it, and they can bridge over to what's it called? To Sui. So Sensei is going to be on Sui soon as well. Targeting 100,000 holders by the end of 2025. Now, why is having loads of holders important? Well, it's important because you get a massive community and you get like a cult-like community. You get what's it called? You get like you can get like a cult, you could say. You get a cult. People will show their bags on Twitter, and this is why Propbase is always amongst the top 10 most talked about altcoins on Twitter. The more holders they get, the more interaction they get as well. Very positive. We'll be covering H2 next asset offering this month. So they have a new asset in July coming out. Recap of dev milestones, whatever bridge, marketing campaigns. They're going to start marketing. Remember what I told you guys? There's going to be a big tier 1 to tier 2. Well, I think tier 2 exchange coming for Propbase. So that's going to come out. There's going to be new dexes as well, and then some other alpha giveaways, etc. So there's a lot of stuff coming for Propbase, and as Aptos, becomes bigger in the RWA space, which they're ranked like 3rd right now in RWA. Propbase will grow with Aptos, which is very good. EstateX has just released their launchpad, and why is launchpad important? Well, very, very simply, A launchpad, what it does is it not only increases the TVL for a project, but it locks up a bunch of tokens. So let's say, 300 million EstateX gets locked up. That's 300 million EstateX out of circulation. Less dilution, the price goes up. It's that simple. And there's less selling pressure as well. So that's very, very good. So when the launchpad comes out, they're staking just for the launchpad just went live. The less there is in circulation, the better it is for the price. That means the less people can sell. So this launchpad, I think it has solid utility. So 20 to 30% of the revenue will flow back into EstateX. Projects can have will need to have a EstateX trading pair, which is very good, because if you want to trade that coin, guess what happens? They will have to buy EstateX to trade it as like gas fees or whatever. So every project that launches on EstateX will have to have a EstateX trading pair. Very, very good token utility. This is very good. I've not seen launchpads do this. This is brand new. Very, very good. Investors need to stake to get access, and then projects built on EstateX blockchain increases volume and TVL. Very, very good. You get more liquidity and you get higher TVL and volume. So these guys are launching a solid launchpad, and they got the right team around them to do it. I think that's everything, really. Is that everything? I think that's everything, guys. Let's go back into the questions now. Okay, so regarding reaching $1, $1 is on the cards, but I think holding to $1 is not ideal, right? I think they're going to vote soon on which coins are securities or commodities, which can be huge if they determine some coins are commodities. Really, that's pretty bullish. That is, I wasn't aware of this. Thanks for letting me know, buddy. That's actually really good. Community has announced pin sold for Monday, despite decimating market cap they're building. Yeah, the market cap. I mean, look, the reality is it does not matter what altcoin you're holding. In terms of gaming specifically, you're going to be decimated regardless. It doesn't. You could be holding the best. Look at Beam, bro. Beam is the best, one of the best, if not top, top 5, top 10, at least definitely top 3 best gaming coins. And look at the chart, bro. You've been decimated holding this as well. So it does not matter which gaming coin you're holding, you're getting decimated regardless. It's not Munity, it's not fucking OTK, it's not Corpo, it's not any of these coins. It's just the narrative. I told you guys, stop comparing individual coins, compare the narrative. It would be a different story if 99% of gaming projects were doing well and Munity wasn't. Then I would say that project's a scam, or that project's just dead. No point buying it. That's not the case. 99% of gaming projects, if not 100% of gaming projects are dead. It's not 99%, I would say it's 100. Maybe Super's doing all right, Superverse. But apart from that, everything else has been decimated, putting in new lows. It's as simple as that. It's not about individual coins, but yeah, as long as they're building, that's all that matters, because it will have a pump at some point. Would I look at? I have looked into stake already. It's been pumping recently. I don't think it's wise getting into it now. I think I had like a 30% pump yesterday. Or yeah, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, but stake doesn't look that bad. I can't find it anywhere. What the fuck? Oh, skate. What the fuck did I put stake? Didn't this have a pump? Am I tripping? Okay, I'm tripping. This is the wrong coin. Connecting all VMs. Stake enables users to interact applications with any VM chain. Yeah, this is bullish. Bullish. People would utilize this type of stuff. I don't know why you would invest into it. You might as well just use it instead of investing into it. If there's some sort of token utility behind it, then it's worth. But if there's not, then there's no point holding these. These are the type of tokens that's just going to generate revenue, but there's no reason for them to have a token. That's what I think some of these projects are. You have to be careful. Like DEXs, you don't really need to hold a token for DEX unless they have some sort of buyback program or some sort of incentive for you holding the token. For example, LogX, if you hold and stake the token, you get access to like launches or like a meme coin launchpad they have. So if you stake the token, every launchpad that launches on LogX, you get airdropped some tokens. You know, these dexes and these bridges, they make their own money regardless of how the market is performing, how their tokens performing, because they make their money with fees. So, you know, if they don't have specific token utilities, there's simply no point holding it. You know, like I said, it all comes down to token utility, my friend. If they don't have a buyback program, they don't have some sort of incentive to hold the token, then the token's just there for them to farm, pretty much, realistically. You'll pump here and there when the DEX narrative or the bridge narrative takes off, but if there's no point holding the token, doesn't matter, you know, how bullish it is, just utilize it. You don't need to hold the token. Any comments on alt season? I think with the big beautiful bill, people are going to be incentivized to get risk on, just like Greg is saying. So if you look over here, where's it going, bro? Maybe it does not say on here, but it incentivizes risk on behavior. Oh, there you go. Look, market sentiment and risk on behavior. The bill pro growth measures like infrastructure spending, tax relief signals economic optimism, encouraging risk on behavior in financial markets. So because of this big, beautiful bill, people get risk on. As I explained to you guys, the money markets is currently at the all-time highs, $7.4 trillion sitting in the money markets. Even if 1, 2, 3, 4 of these trillion gets risk on, you're going to see a massive boom across all risk assets. This is where people go when they're scared. And if this is, you know, if the people have a reason to get risk on, like with this big beautiful bill coming into play, then they will get risk on because everyone wants more money. Everyone wants to make more money. That's how the markets work. You know, why would they sit in the money markets when everything else is going parabolic? They're going to join the party. So that's how it works. And because of that, because of this big beautiful bill and the deficit going up as well, you know, debt ceiling increasing by 5 trillion. This means that they're going to print 5 more trillion at some point over the years. The market is just going to rally, you know, and then the Fed is going to cut interest rates very soon in September as well. So, you know, for the next 6 months, I think is very bullish. Any C plays, you can either get the DEX or get one of the meme coins. So if you want a C play, I'll hold C specifically because I don't really hold the ecosystem. Swan, this one right here, this is one of the meme coins. Pumped recently, so you have to look for an entry. Milli is another one of the ecosystem meme coins. This one right here, it's pumped as well. So, you know, just find entries on these. You obviously don't want to be buying massive green candles. Chirply is also integrated with C. That's one of the main reasons I still hold this shit. So they are on C as well. These guys have bridged over to C, which is quite good. They've become like the main marketing shit for C. Another C play, Hive, HINT. This is also been integrated with C. Fucking hell, you guys are pumping it up, bro. This has also been integrated with C just recently, a few days ago, actually. So there's quite a... Yo, shit, good to see you, bro. Shit, yo, shit, how you doing, bro? Institutional clearly chose base. So I guess Aero, big liquidity coming to... Yes. I'm very, very bullish on base, bro. And that's one of the main reasons I got into this token, because it is on base. And, you know, when AI agent infrastructure on base, I think that will perform really well, especially with all the backers these guys have as well. But yes, I do agree with you. I think base ecosystem will do very well. Coinbase Circle has been pretty much picked by institutions, especially Circle. Thoughts on DOGE? It looks like one of those standard memes. Standout memes. Oh, DOGE. What the fuck is this, bro? DOGE. DOGE. Bro, I'm not buying this, bro. This shit's pumped. It's up 70% now. Fuck that. What makes you think it stands out? Let's have a look what it is. So it's like an SPX. New indexes for the people. It could blow up, but I don't know, man. The Solana is not really the place to be doing this, to be honest. So they got the three-headed dogs, the three-headed DOGE dogs. Yeah, look, I would not be buying this now after a 75% candle. But the thing with Solana is there's too many Jeets on there, bro. Like, it'll pump, give you a couple of weeks, it'll just come straight back down, bro. And I know a few groupers don't buy alerts on this, so I don't recommend buying, because you can just become exit liquidity for them. In the comments, HINT, my friend, HINT. I've typed it in for you. Is Hive intelligence? Julius OS. I heard Julius has good partnerships, and they have a decent team as well, which is always good. And I think for the low cap, is consolidating in this region. I think it's worth chucking in a few hundred, and it's not a bad project. In terms of tops, it's hard to say, my friend, because it's a business cycle, and these business cycles can take years to play out. Like, people don't realize business cycles can literally take years. People say a lot of people were saying we're going to a recession 2024, did not happen. People were saying we're going to go to recession Q1 2025, has not happened. Unemployment's strong. People got to realize the definition of a recession has been changed in real time. When we was in a recession, by definition for the last decade, they changed the definition. When we had 2 consecutive negative GDPs in 2022, they never announced a recession, even though by definition that is a recession, but they didn't announce it. The reason they said that is because unemployment was strong, unemployment was low. So now the unemployment metric is more important than GDP, because they can artificially create GDP now. They look at unemployment. If unemployment is coming down, from 4.3 to 4.1, or in the same range since 2024, because in 2024 unemployment was 4.1, it's now 4.1. So we cannot, by definition, be in a recession. So we don't know when the market will top. We could get another rally, another decent relief rally, and then dump again, and keep doing that to the end of the business cycle where interest rates are like 2% or some shit, and then we get a recession and crash or whatever, and then we can go into full economic expansion afterwards. So it is really, really hard to say when the cycle top will be in. But the smartest thing you guys can do is to start to take profits when BTC is between 130 to 150. That is when you should be taking profits. Think we can go down one last time to 97, 104. 104 is possible, and 97 is on the card as well. But if we do go down, the next level is 104. That's the next support level. And Dick has CZ to list utility. Yo, T13, I agree with you, bro. Honestly, I do agree with you. When they list random coins out of their ass. Well, they list everything that either pays them or gives them a bunch of tokens. They list it, and then they moon stupid amounts, and then the motherfuckers just dump it afterwards, bro. Use people like exit liquidity. Ricky, good to see you, bro. Bricken worth hold if I already have Propbase and EstateX. Yeah, definitely, bro. I think you should definitely hold Bricken. Like, look how strong the fundamentals for Bricken is at $13 million in market cap, has very good rallies when the market gets bullish, and look at the TVL, 35 million, while the market cap is 13 million. That just shows how undervalued it really is. Many people, institutions are tokenizing with Bricken, and their goal is by 2025 to get this to 50 million. So I don't see why the market cap cannot do a 5x from here at least. So I would most definitely be holding Bricken. Definitely be holding Bricken. It's one of the most bullish ones. Am I still bullish on Cola? I'm bullish on Cola. Yes, I haven't really bought back into it just yet, but I'm waiting for a specific price for it to come down. If it goes back down to like below 15 cents or 1.5, sorry, I'll get back into it, as because I think it will pump again for sure. EstateX billions. I think EstateX will reach hundreds of millions. I don't know about billions. Billions could be down the line, maybe in next cycle, but this cycle it will reach hundreds of millions, in my opinion. Andy, good to see you, my friend. How you doing? 9th of July tariff decision, 10th of July pick of full moon. The buck moon is the representative action structure rising. Structure good timing for an ETH. I think, look, with tariffs, as long as the big economies like Europe, China are like are dealt with in terms of they have a trade deal with those guys. The rest of them does not matter as much because they small economies. They don't affect the market. Yeah, still might go down 1% or some shit. Maybe Bitcoin goes down from 106 to 105, and it will just recover. The only countries that really matter is China, Europe, and that's it pretty much. Maybe Japan. Those are the countries that really matter. In terms of everything else, it does not matter because some like Canada and all these other countries, no one gives a shit about because they're not big economies. They don't really affect anything. But you've asked the same question like 5 times, bro. Relax, bro. I know you're trying to pump your bags, but just relax. I just answered your question like half an hour ago, 20 minutes, 10 minutes ago. Anyways, on that note, guys, if you do not have any further questions in the chat, 1 hour, it is Saturday. I want you guys to go enjoy your Saturday night. Smash the like button on your way out. I would really appreciate that. But yeah, my friend, I would not be aping into DOGE, whatever the fuck it's called. If you're already into it and you're trying to pump your bags, fair play. I'm not knocking you for that, my friend. But as an investor, if something has pumped 75% the last 24 hours or 55%, I don't recommend you buying a bag of this. I don't recommend. The reason I say that is because there's a few groups that's done a buy alert on this, so that means they got in quite early. The groups have pumped this up, and then guess what? You're going to be exit liquidity, so do not be on those exit liquidity calls, my friend. Just be patient, wait a couple of weeks, it might come down again, and if you really have the same level of conviction, then buy into it. I don't have the conviction. Is it worth to hold under with a small portfolio around 20K? I think it's worth holding a high cap, yes. Maybe it's 2-3K. So if you get something that'll do a 10x, because if the rest of your altcoins go to shits, then guess what? If every single one of your coins go to shits and your 2 to 3K in your high cap does a 10x, you don't really lose money. And the reality of all your other altcoins going to shits or rug pulling is like low to none. So you always need a safety net, my friend. You always need a safety net. Munity a good buy now. Munity is like 1% of your portfolio or less, Andy. Like chucking a few hundred, forget about it to the end of this, like to the end of 2025, if gaming comes back. Because the reality is, look, if gaming comes back, most of these fucking coins will do 100x. All these gaming coins will do like 50 to 100x because they've been sent to the abyss. They're all down 99%. Every single AI gaming coin is down 99%. The high caps, the best ones, they're down 80 to 90%. The low caps, the risky ones, they're down 80 to 9. I would say 90 to 99%. So if we do get a gaming run, and this is where you have to be willing to take the risk. It depends on you if you want to take the risk or not. If you want to take the risk and you want to make a 50 to 100x, you have to get into some of these gaming coins. You have to 1 or 2, maybe 3. But that's how it is. You either take the risk or you don't. It's that simple. If you don't want to take the risk, then don't take the risk. Don't buy gaming coins. If you want to take the risk, because the only thing that's going to give you 100x, 50x, 200x moving forward from this point on is either going to be some random meme that you're never going to catch, or a gaming coin. That's it. That's the only way you're going to get to make the hundreds of x's. It's either going to be a meme coin or a narrative that's just been sent to the abyss, which is gaming. So, you have to decide for yourself if you want to take that risk. I'm willing to take that risk. You don't have to. The reason I'm willing to take that risk is because if I put $2,000 in Unity, I do one trade, I made like 50, 60K in a trade. Does it really matter if I lost 2K on Unity? It doesn't. And it's the same thing for you. If you put $200 in Unity and then you do a trade that makes you $2-3 whatever, depending on your portfolio size, right? Does it really matter if you lost $200 in Unity? It doesn't. But you can make $20,000, you can make $10,000, $15,000, whatever from $200. That's the risk you have to be willing to take. Because whatever money I lose on that, I can make it back from a trade. That's how I think. You have to risk, the tolerance. You have to look at the risk, see if it's worth, and if it does not work out, you can always make it back doing something else. So yeah. Do I think AI 16 can go near all-time highs again? AI 16, and the reason it could go back to its all-time highs again, but I don't think it will. And I'll tell you why. Because the first wave of a narrative is always going to be the biggest wave. The second wave of a narrative is never going to be the same. So you look at this going back to $2 of the market cap of $2.5 billion. Is that going to happen again? The reality is it's not. The reason this went to over here is simply because the narrative was at its peak. On the next wave, AI agents are not going to be the biggest narrative again. That was only the first wave. AI 16 is still good. I think it will still perform well. But in terms of going back to its all-time high, very, very unlikely. Very unlikely. Anyways, guys, appreciate every single one of you for tuning in on the live stream today. It is a Saturday. No one really ever goes live on a Saturday, but because I have not been live for the last 5 days, I did decide to go live today. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your week. I will be doing live possibly tomorrow. If not, I'll do one on Monday. And then we can go over, do coin reviews, look over some trades, whatever it is. I'll be live on Monday. Tomorrow unlikely, but Monday very likely. I'll be live on Monday. I'll see you guys then. Drop a like on your way out. I appreciate the consistent support from all of you guys. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye-bye. Enjoy the rest of your week.